Have you ever been catfished? After 6 months of recovering from my ex Arthur, I was finally ready to meet someone new, and this guy Ben from the dating app seemed perfect. I got to the bar 20 minutes early and grabbed a small table near the back where we'd agreed to meet, texting Ben that I was here wearing the red dress like I'd promised. He texted back immediately saying he was 5 minutes away and couldn't wait to finally meet me in person after 2 weeks of talking every night. I ordered a wine to calm my nerves and kept watching the door, my heart jumping every time someone walked in. 7:30 came and went, then 7:45, and my excitement started turning into that familiar sinking feeling. I texted Ben again asking if he was close, but the message didn't even show as delivered. By 8, I was fighting back tears because I'd been so sure this one was different that I was finally ready to trust someone again. I was about to leave when someone said, "Stella, is that really you?" And my whole body went cold because I knew that voice. Arthur was standing there looking better than I remembered, wearing the expensive jacket I'd bought him last Christmas, smiling like he was genuinely happy to see me. I wanted to run but didn't want to make a scene, so I just said hi and turned back to my phone, praying Ben would text. Arthur asked if he could sit down just for a minute, said he knew I probably hated him but he'd been in therapy and wanted to apologize. He looked so different from the angry person I'd left, and I was feeling vulnerable from being stood up, so I said fine, just for a minute. He ordered a beer and said, "You look beautiful. That red dress is new, isn't it?" Which made me uncomfortable because how would he know what was new? But I just nodded. He said therapy had helped him understand how controlling he'd been, how he'd pushed me away with his jealousy, and he seemed genuinely remorseful. I started to relax slightly, thinking maybe he really had changed. He asked what I was doing here alone, and I said I was supposed to meet someone, but they hadn't shown up. Arthur's face shifted to sympathy and he said, "That's terrible. What kind of guy would stand you up?" I shrugged, not wanting to talk about it, but he kept pressing. "Was it a first date? Someone from an app?" he asked, and I wondered how he'd guessed that, but figured it was obvious. He said online dating was dangerous, that you never really knew who you were talking to, and something about how he said it made my skin prickle. I tried to change the subject, but Arthur asked, "What was his name? Maybe I know him." I said it didn't matter, but Arthur insisted, saying, "Come on, was it Ben? That seems to be a popular name these days." My blood went cold because I hadn't told him the name. Arthur must have seen my face because he quickly said, "Lucky guess. There's like 5 Bens at my gym." But now I was noticing things like how he'd ordered my favorite beer for himself, the one he'd always made fun of me for liking. He asked what Ben did for work, and when I didn't answer, he said, "Let me guess. Something with computers? Maybe web design?" That was exactly what Ben had told me, and my hands started shaking. Arthur leaned closer and said, "You know what's funny? I've been trying online dating too. It's amazing how easy it is to become someone else entirely." My mouth went dry as he continued. "All you need are some photos from an old college friend's Instagram, a fake job, a whole new personality." He was watching my face intently as he said, "The hardest part is keeping track of all the details, like remembering to mention the hiking trip to Colorado or the golden retriever named Max." My heart froze because those were Ben's exact details. I stood up to leave, but Arthur grabbed my wrist, not hard but firm. "Don't go yet. We've been having such nice conversations these past 2 weeks." My whole body was shaking as I realized I told him everything about my new apartment, my work schedule, how I still hadn't changed the locks because I'd been meaning to get around to it. He knew I lived alone now, knew my roommate had moved out last month, knew everything. Arthur's grip tightened and he said, "I knew you wouldn't talk to me as myself, but you opened up so much to Ben." He was smiling now, that same smile from when things used to go bad. "But you also said you're not scared anymore, that you're stronger now. Should we test that?" I tried to pull away, but he wouldn't let go. "I've watched you try to escape me for 6 months, and now you invited me back in without even knowing it. And now I'm not letting you get away from me again. Not ever." Full story on the channel below.